Choosing a career can be one of the most intimidating decisions you ever have to make in your life. There are so many out there, and you think, well, where do I begin? How do I know what is right for me? What do I want to do with my life? And the key thing is making sure that you integrate you and your thoughts towards a career like this. So whether you want to be a teacher, or whether you want to be a farmer, or whether you want to be a plumber, or a policeman or policewoman, an accountant, a welder, a social worker, an entrepreneur, an astronaut, it doesn't matter what you want to be, think about how those two come together. Now, to give you a little bit of a hint, I want to show you how there's 3 areas of you and your career that will all mesh together to hopefully lead you in the right direction. The first thing to think about is your strengths. What are you good at? What are the things that come naturally to you? Now that's not just what your marks are. Are you good at science? Are you good at life science? Are you good at maths? Are you good at English? It's about much more than the academics. It's about your whole person. There's other skills that you might have that you don't necessarily get measured on in your matric. For example, communication. How well do you communicate? Are you the kind of person who's very good at explaining things? Are you good at talking to a large group? Are you good one-on-one with communication? What are your leadership skills like? What is your risk profile? Are you the kind of person who loves taking risks, or are you rather going to go with a safe bet? So all of those things are things that you've got to think about in terms of what makes you you. What are the strengths that you have that are unique to you? Second thing to think about is your passions. What are the things that you love? What are the things that you enjoy doing? So maybe some of those things that I've mentioned already. You think, oh, I love that. I love talking to people one-on-one. I don't like talking to big groups, but one-on-one, I'm perfect. That's fantastic. Or I'm just an adventurous type. I want to be outdoorsy. Whatever my job is, I do not want to be at a desk. I never want to wear a tie after school in my whole life. So passions could be also something like, well, I want to uplift our country. It might be little children. You might be really passionate about working with little kids. You might be passionate about inventing things, coming up with genius ideas of the next iPhone or something phenomenal like that. So passions, what are the things that actually tick your boxes? When you're on YouTube or when you're Googling, what is the kind of stuff that interests you? So think about your passions. Third thing to think about is a very practical one, and that is finances. At the end of the day, you've got to look after yourself, and one day you might have to look after a family or contribute to a family. So you've got to find a career that is going to provide for your needs. Now, maybe we all want to live in a big mansion in Beverly Hills and drive a Lamborghini or a Bentley, but that might not be something that we can all do. But we can all look after ourselves and make a contribution to those around you. So think about your financial goals. Would you like to one day own your own house? Would you like to be able to buy a car? At what stage would you like to be able to buy a car? If you want a family, do you want 1 children or 17 children? It makes a big difference in terms of the bank account of how much money you've got to earn. So look at that aspect of a career as well. How much would you earn once you've finished qualifying? How much would you earn after 5 years, and maybe when you're starting to think about putting a family together? And how much would you be earning in 20 years' time when you're well established in your career? So those are a few things to think about. With the finances, also consider how much it costs to get to a qualified place. Is it something that's within your grasp, or how could you find the funds to access the career choice that you want to go with? And once you've thought about all those things, your strengths, your passions, and the financial aspect of your chosen career, ideally where you want to be is right bang in the middle, where all 3 of those things are ticked. You're doing something that you love, something that you're really good at, and that is going to earn you a good living. You could perhaps make a bit of a compromise. Let's say, for example, you thought, well, I know that maybe starting as a tradesman, doing a plumbing or electrical or welding or something like that, is not going to make me millions immediately. And so you could compromise on that and say, well, listen, I love working with my hands, and I know that it's something that will really make a difference in my community in terms of being a plumber. And what I could do is I could also then, in 3 years' time, once I've got a bit of an experience, I could start my own business. And from there, then you could maybe begin to work your way into a place where you start to achieve some of your financial goals as well. So sometimes there are compromises. Don't expect your dreams to come true overnight like that, But what you don't want to do is make a career choice that is somewhere out there, where you're doing something that you really hate, something that doesn't earn you any money, and in fact, you're really rubbish at it as well. So that is a bad career choice. Now, that's just a principle. There are strengths, patterns, and finances, and finding where your career choice might fit in to those circles gives you some food for thought. There's a lot more questions to answer about who you are and what you really are good at and what you really are passionate about, as well as finding out what the careers involve. So all I can do to encourage you as we wrap up is to say the best thing to do is ask as many questions as you can. Get as much experience as you can in the real world. Get your hands dirty. Go out there, speak to actual businesses that you think you might be interested in, get some job shadowing experience or work experience. And never give up. You might even find that you've chosen a career, you head down it for even a few years, and then suddenly you think, maybe this is not quite fitting me, I might want to go in that direction. And that's absolutely fine. In fact, that's quite often quite common these days, as people have a bit of mobility in their careers. The important thing is, whatever you're doing at the time, do it with your whole heart. Give it everything that you've got. Remember that building relationships helps you in your life as your network grows and your personal skills and your whole enriched life becomes something that makes a difference in this world.